Good afternoon, hello and welcome. This is Switch Focus, a special bulletin on the news making headlines globally. Remember to keep watching your favorite programs on the following platforms: Zignet, Zuku Channel 53 or Azam Channel 338. You can also catch our episodes on Switch TV News YouTube channel as well as our website www.switchtv.ka or download the Switch TV app on Google Play or the App Store. I'm David Kagina and the sign language interpreter is Michael Maithia. Now on to our first story. In the world's first sailing door made out of recycled plastic sails the waters of Lake Victoria in Kenya in an awareness campaign against plastic pollution. The founders of the Flip Fluffy project hope it will spur a movement of using recycled waste to build boats and other ships. Fitness instructor Solange Cutie Tashobia, a 31-year-old mother, lost her job the day Uganda went under lockdown due to COVID-19 pandemic in March of last year. With very little savings, she and her daughter were forced to move in with her sister, where she started doing odd jobs to make ends meet, including baking for friends and neighbors. She has since been able to afford to move into her own home and says women have been hardest hit by the pandemic, but they have risen to the occasion in order to survive and provide for their families. U.S. Ambassador to the UN Linda Thomas-Greenfield calls for Eritrean forces to leave Ethiopia's Tigray region after reports of atrocities despite denials by both governments of their presence. The envoy in a virtual press statement said the onus to prevent further atrocities and human suffering falls squarely on the Ethiopian government's shoulders.
Firm.
Iraqi religious leaders hope that the papal historic trip to Iraq will strengthen interfaith dialogues between the different religions, especially because Pope Francis is expected to hold a hugely symbolic meeting with Grand Ayatollah Ali Sistani, seeking to deepen his cautious dialogue with Muslim leaders. Daniel Karuki tells us more. The Yankee Stadium Vaccination Center has extended its operational hours to distribute the newly arrived Johnson & Johnson vaccine to BRONX residents who celebrated the opportunity to get this no-hassle single-dose shot, despite waiting in the freezing cold. Now, Cambodian strongman Premier has received Thursday his first coronavirus vaccine dose as his country battles against its worst outbreak of local infections. Earlier this week, Cambodia received its first batch of 324,000 doses of AstraZeneca's coronavirus vaccines manufactured by the Serum Institute of India, provided to Phnom Penh by COVAX, a global scheme to procure and distribute inoculations for free for poorer countries. Cambodia is expected to receive an estimated 7 million doses from COVAX for 20% of the country's total population, with a total of 1.1 million doses expected to be delivered by the end of May. It's 15 minutes past the hour, and that story right there brings us to a short commercial break. We have more in line for you, so don't switch. Keep it switch. Welcome back for those joining us. This is Switch Focus with me, David Kagina, on sign languages, Michael Maithia. Now on to our first story. After the break, China has made a move to assume veto power over candidates for Hong Kong's legislature through a draft electoral law revision that would allow it to expunge pro-democracy politicians from the city's already limited democracy. U.S. President Joe Biden has congratulated the team of NASA scientists who successfully landed the Perseverance rover on Mars during the virtual call from White House. German Chancellor Angela Merkel has unveiled plans to gradually ease virus curbs in Europe's top economy, caving to pressure from regional leaders and the public for more freedom after months of shutdown. Declaring a new phase in the pandemic, Merkel said more socializing between households would be allowed from Monday. After talks with the state premiers, she said bookshops, flower stores and garden centers will also reopen nationwide, and further reopenings will be closely tied to local infection rates. Denmark relaxed some virus restrictions, allowing certain smaller businesses, including shops, to reopen across the country. But hairdressers remain closed and children above the 4th grade are still studying from home. Shops which sell durable goods such as clothes or furniture will be allowed to open nationally, provided they are under 5,000 square meters in size. Stores which are located in shopping malls will not be allowed to reopen, however. COVID has taken over, says Beverly Vaz, feeling abandoned by health authorities as the two children battle heroin addiction. In rural Pennsylvania, Beverly and her husband have hardly come into contact with anyone affected by the pandemic, but it feels it has taken away precious help to battle the country's opioid epidemic, which they say has gotten worse over the past year. The United Nations must take very strong measures against Myanmar's military to bring the country back to democracy after a military coup. This is according to the body's envoy to the Southeastern Asian nation, Christine Schrana. Myanmar has been in turmoil since February 1st when the military ousted and detained civilian leader Aung San Suu Kyi, ending the nation's decade-long experiment with democracy and sparking daily mass protests. That's all we had for you here on Switch Focus today. Thank you for sticking with us till the end of the bulletin. Being a Friday, remember to share the love that was missing during the week in a moment of peace and bliss. From me, David Kagina, and the sign language interpreter Michael Maithia, enjoy your evening.